But you will cheat. You will cheat.
Hey, look, everybody said I'm cheating for no reason.
Good. Nice composure, good. Two underneath when he leans on you. Don't give him time. That's it.
Terence Crawford arrives at Anthony Joshua camp before the Jake Paul fight, and the boxing world quickly reacts. Crawford closely watches Joshua training sessions and studies his work. Their time together shows how focused Joshua is and how he invites top-level fighters to sharpen his skills. Having a pound-for-pound star in camp raises the energy and tightens the focus as fight night gets closer.
Good. Good. Nice composure, good. Two underneath when he leans on you. Don't give him time.
Anthony Joshua always looks for fresh experiences and new advice from every fighter he meets. He studies different styles and ways of thinking and applies what he learns to his own boxing. He enjoys learning and turns each lesson into progress. This habit helps him become stronger and more complete in every camp.
I've always heard that saying, a happy fighter is a good fighter. And each individual, you know, uses different things and finds out different ways to keep them occupied and keep them happy. And for me, it was just like communication within the team.
Clear communication inside the team plays a big role. Anthony Joshua pushes himself through hard training sessions built to toughen his body and sharpen his reactions. He uses deep ice baths to reduce swelling and recover faster so he can train at full strength. After recovery, he returns to demanding drills that test power, speed, and focus. This routine shows his full commitment to elite preparation. Wade Plemons, the combat sports analyst, gives a strong opinion on how Anthony Joshua should deal with Jake Paul. He says this fight is not about taking time or making it entertaining. Wade believes Joshua must act fast with purpose and avoid extra rounds. His view is simple. A heavyweight with Joshua's background cannot give Jake extra time in the ring. Letting the fight last longer would create doubt and hurt his image. Wade feels Joshua should finish early to protect his position. With many eyes watching, he says Joshua must set control from the first bell. Joshua has the size, experience, and power edge. Wade insists the cleanest solution is a fast ending.
Believe it'll be, which I think could be a little bit of a feeling out first round for AJ too. Then Jake wins to me. And I know that sounds like, oh, but it's true, bro. AJ shouldn't be going rounds with Jake. He just shouldn't. That's a two-time world champion. You know what I'm saying?
Olympic gold medalist,
gold medalist, two-time world champion. You shouldn't be going rounds with Jake. Jake hasn't fought anybody in, I mean, I don't know where they currently rank Tommy Fury, but he hasn't fought anybody in the top 50 in any weight division he's participated in. Mm-hmm. So if that guy's going 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds with you, cooked. But I think if you're putting money on it, I would say AJ, round 3 maybe.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
2 or 3. Everybody's kind of jumping on the AJ round 2, and I'm like, you know, Jake's tough. Could he use his feet for a little bit longer than people imagine? Is it going to be tougher for AJ to land on him early, maybe? But I think at a certain point, you know, the cat corrals the mouse a little bit. But we'll see, dude. Who knows? Jake's got some good guys in camp. He brought in Lawrence Okoli. Big Lawrence Okoli now, too. Did you see him?
I remember being in Dubai, like, 3 years ago. Do you remember 3 years ago when we were, commentated, for Deji vs. Merva. And funny enough, from that fight week, Jake Paul went and hung out, went shooting of AJ. Yeah. I think, like, laser tag of AJ. Yeah. 3 years ago on the same week.
Wild. That entire week now, it's like coming to full fruition. It was here in Dubai. It was Jake on commentary, first time I had met Jake, talking shit to Tommy Fury. Lawrence Okoli was on commentary with me, and I was like, how are you a cruiserweight? Because at that time, he was still a cruiserweight, and I was like, how the fuck are you a cruiserweight? You're massive. And sure enough, now he's like 265-pound heavyweight. He's way too big, by the way. But, he's got Lawrence in camp. He's got Jared Anderson in camp, what's supposed to have been our great American heavyweight.
Anthony Joshua camp for the Jake Paul fight shows a clear change from his usual preparation. As a former unified heavyweight champion, Joshua is known for strict plans and controlled routines. this camp goes in a new direction. The intensity is higher, the pace is faster, and the style shifts show he is taking Jake very seriously. Anthony Joshua revealing a weight near 110 kilograms or about 243 pounds became a major topic. For most of his career he stayed in a steady range that fit his style. This time it was clear he dropped close to 20 pounds in a short period, which caused concern. Cutting that much weight later in a career is difficult. Joshua is in his mid-30s and sharp cuts are harder on the body. It can affect strength, recovery, hydration, and performance. The move shows serious focus on Jake Paul but also brings risk. Less weight may improve speed but can reduce natural power and presence. This balance is important against a lighter but active opponent. Joshua appears to be finding balance by staying lighter for movement while keeping enough strength to stay dangerous.
But fundamentally, you're still living life as normal. You're not restricting yourself that much. You know, if you're eating 2 pieces of chicken, maybe you just eat a piece of it. You see what I mean? You're not going to the extreme to try and actually dehydrate yourself or anything like that. It's very different than having to actually hit a specific weight, all right? And to do that in a relatively short space of time, because this fight's, you know, not that long has it been announced, and it's not that long until the fight. It's only 2 weeks away. Eddie Hearn was talking about AJ weighing 265 a couple of days ago. So you're thinking, okay, 20 pounds in what, 3 weeks? That's not ideal for someone who, again, is in their mid to late 30s, a year in activity, and crucially has never had to hit a specific weight throughout the course of his career. Never had to do it. All right. So it did have me kind of worrying a little bit and thinking, is this a miscalculation, accepting that? Because in terms of him fighting Jake Paul, he's going to win. I mean, there's no ifs about it. He's going to win this fight. It's pretty much a given. Right? But it did have me wondering. Now, AJ, as I said, he took to his social media accounts to show that he's currently weighing 110.6 kg, which is around about 243 US pounds. So that's well under the weight limit. So a lot of people are saying, slam dunk, it's done. Well, I got a few questions on that, because you do have to ask these questions. You're talking about Anthony Joshua, who over the course of the last, 3 years has been solid in the 250s. Hasn't weighed sub 240 or sub 250 since he fought Usyk 3 years ago. And bear in mind, he would have went into camp fully intending to be mobile, speed. He would have spent 3, maybe 4 months working on, you know, what's an ideal weight for that, working on this, that, and the other. So it's not like, you know, a crash diet for the Usyk fight or anything like that. And AJ is someone who loves the resistance training. That seems to be the main thing that he does. And outside of camp, you know, he probably would have thought he was fighting Cassius Chaney, which is the name that a lot of people had in an 8-rounder.
Carl Froch, the former super middleweight world champion known for honest opinions, shares why this fight makes sense. Froch feels Joshua is in the later stage of his career. He has already earned titles, stadium fights, and major events. Froch believes there are few big fights left that have not happened. Taking the Jake Paul fight is not a bad move in his view. He sees it as a major payday with global attention. Froch also mentions a possible Tyson Fury fight, which would still be massive. After that, he feels Joshua has little left to chase. He does not criticize the decision. He sees it as smart timing and good business. With a strong legacy built, this fight is more about money and entertainment than legacy.
He had a go, and for me, he's found his limit now, found his level. So now he needs to look at his health and look at what he's got after boxing. And if he can make 50 mil, whatever he's making, to fight fucking in the clown world against the clown show, do you know what I mean? Then take the money, man. Yeah. Take it and go and live your life. I can't see AJ fighting for a world title again. I don't know who he fights and who he would beat and how we would get that desire back to become a world champion. But Eddie Hearn's got to sell it and try and say AJ is going to be world champ again. 3-time world champ, but I'm not buying into that bullshit. I think AJ's had a great career. He's done massive things for professional boxing. And now he's at the end of his career and he's cashing out. So who can blame him? I'd do exactly the same at the end of my career. I'd fight fucking Jake Paul for mega money and then drop the mic and then go home. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to knock him for doing it.
As much as you say that his career is maybe done after this, he has obviously made the jump, left Ben Davison, gone to Usyk. Do you think that could maybe reignite a flame in AJ? Maybe change something that you might not believe is there at the moment?
No, it's too old. Too old. I've been 36, 37 years old. but I've never had 150 million quid in the bank. Do you know what I mean? And I think the combination of his age, the fact that he's been flattened a couple of times, and now he's making mega money. Why is he going to try and become a world champion again? He's got to train for 10 weeks and spar really hard sparring. And then he's got to get in the ring on Fight Night with 10-ounce gloves against somebody like Dubois, or he's not going to fight Usyk again. Maybe he sticks around and fights Tyson Fury, because that's another, for me, another commercial mega fight, which is actually fighting somebody who's on the same level. Because Tyson Fury's not been in the ring now for a long time.
Johnny Nelson, the former cruiserweight world champion and Sky Sports analyst, offers a different view. While many talk about Joshua plan, Nelson focuses on the danger for Jake Paul. He shows concern about what could happen if Jake takes heavy shots from someone of Joshua's size and power. Nelson says Jake has improved in boxing, but facing a former heavyweight champion is another level. Heavyweight power is unlike anything Jake has faced. Nelson warns one bad moment could seriously affect Jake's health and future.
We'll see. For AJ, I'm stuck in between, because nobody on this green earth would actually turn down 50, 60 million to fight Jake Paul. And people that don't like this will probably watch it because they want to see Jake Paul getting knocked out. So what does it say about AJ and what does it say about Jake Paul? I think I was thinking upside down. For AJ, I thought, Mama's cashing out. He's cashing out because he's going down this minute line. But I thought, in reality, is he? Realistically, he's thinking, you know what, this big mouth YouTuber stroke boxer has the cheek to call me out. I'd be pissed off at that, if I'm honest with you. I'd be upset if I was AJ, thinking, that's disrespect, man. You think you can deal with me? But he didn't. AJ was jovial and he commended Jake Paul's business acumen, saying, we've sat down, the deal's been done. But still, it just leaves an odd taste in your mouth. So as long as AJ gets the job done, and I mean gets the job done, shows his world-class pedigree, and wipes this boy out, then everybody's happy. But how does it enhance his career? The only way it enhances his career is financially. That's it. No other way. There's no props from beating Jake Paul, apart from saying, thank God you shut him up. For Jake Paul now, I got to give this boy props, because he now has our attention and the whole world is talking about Jake Paul. I want to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Bet Goodwin, for supporting That Boxing Show. Now, if you're interested in having a little flutter, or as I call it after my dad, Benji's Bets, Bet Goodwin's the place to be. Check out Bet Goodwin using the QR code on the screen. I'm probably alright, I'm probably 90% thinking the fight's going to happen. But I'm struggling. I'm thinking, this boy can't be so stupid. But then you hear a whisper. You hear a whisper that Jake Paul himself might be cashing out. Because the big purses that he's pulling, fighting these has-beens or ex-fighters, they're dropping slowly but surely. So maybe, just maybe, this might be his last fight. Getting in there with Anthony Joshua and getting knocked out. But there's always that conspiracy theory. Are there some contract agreements that can and cannot be done, which will never see the light of day, that we don't know about? Well, if you're an ex-fighter and if you like the fight game, you'll see fake. You'll know fake when you see it. So if there's any of that fakery going on with this, pulling a shot, taking it easy, giving man a bit of a breather, especially coming from AJ.
Jared Anderson, a rising American heavyweight known for speed and power, plays a key role in camp. Anderson is young, aggressive, and keeps pressure high, which forces Joshua to stay alert. Sparring with constant pressure helps Joshua react faster and improve defense. Anderson exposes weaknesses during training. Slow reactions are punished and mistakes show quickly. This prepares Joshua for surprises Jake Paul might bring. Even though Jake is smaller, this work builds timing and confidence.
Jake Paul is being dwarfed by these way bigger heavyweights like Jared Anderson, Frank Sanchez, and Lawrence Okolie. Okolie is like 6'4.5", 6'5", and these guys are like 6'3", 6'4", probably. So now Jake Paul is the one that's smaller. So first of all, I will give credit to Jake Paul. Clearly, he's a person who is taking his career seriously. These are quality sparring. I mean, a real boxer, because people say he's not a real boxer, but a real boxer would be using the same guys in their sparring camp. In fact, I just told you Joshua used Lawrence Okolie. I don't know if he sparred with Anderson or Frank Sanchez, but these are all regular ranked heavyweights. So credit to Jake Paul for that. And I mean, he's gonna need it. Joshua is a different breed to, like, you know, a Mike Perry when it comes to boxing. Different frame, different size. In case you didn't believe me, right? Jake Paul, this is what MVP Promotions posted. So Jake Paul top sparring, right? Heavyweights. And here's some pictures of Joshua with Lawrence Okoli. And again, Joshua, a big dude, but you see Lawrence Okoli, and he probably was cruiserweight back then. I mean, I don't know exactly when this picture was taken, but he's only like an inch shorter than Anthony Joshua. And now, as he's moved up to the full heavyweight, he has filled out more. You see, he looks even bigger than when he was a cruiserweight. Now, I gotta research it, but I want to say I thought Lawrence Okoli was injured, but again, I'm not his doctor, nor do I care.
Anthony Joshua recently spoke about Francis Ngannou turning down a Jake Paul fight and called it a poor money choice. Joshua explained that boxing rarely offers deals that large, especially to fighters not fully established. Missing such an offer may mean it never comes back. Chael Sonnen, former UFC fighter and outspoken analyst, agreed. Sonnen said Ngannou should have accepted because the money was rare and significant. He added that Jake Paul fights bring exposure and income that outsiders usually do not get.
Francis Ngannou does not take the fight against Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua takes the fight against Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua at the press conference gets asked his opinion of Francis not taking the fight against Jake Paul. And Joshua's like, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. There is no reason for him to not take this match. I cannot be and am not mad at Francis. I can't be. Like rules would preclude me from being upset with Francis. I'm not a big Francis fan. Francis fan. I'm not a Francis supporter. So I want to hurt Francis. I want to do something to hurt him. Well, his own actions took $10 million out of his bank account, of which, by the way, could use $10 million. So I can't be mad at him. If I teased him and by God, get in there and he go, oh my gosh, I heard Chael and I heard from all the Eagles and what was I thinking, and Joshua's out and this is my chance of redemption. Hey, put me in, Jake. That would then help him. That would be positive for Francis. That would create envy as well as jealousy from outside observers like me. But I will tell you, trying to break down and understand how we got to this conclusion is mind-boggling. You ever met a writer? Your whole life, have you ever met a writer? Maybe went to college for it and they're a writer. Do you want to know the hardest thing in the world that person's going to have to do to make money? Find somebody to pay them to write. It's very, very rare.
That is all for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time.